Most people still ask the same question: will Christchurch Cathedral ever be restored? In the early hours of September 4th, 2010, Canterbury was hit with a magnitude 7.1 earthquake, shallow, around 10 kilometers deep. Then again on February 22nd, 2011, another major quake strikes at lunchtime. Even shallower, around 5 kilometers deep, just 10 kilometers from downtown Christchurch. What followed was a city changed forever. Over 60% of the buildings in the central city needed to be demolished and rebuilt. Downtown Christchurch sat behind fences for years with no public access. And right in the middle of it all, the city's most iconic landmark, Christ Church Cathedral, left devastated, and for years, its future was genuinely uncertain.
The Anglican Cathedral in Christchurch is to be demolished after experts decided the damage caused to it during last year's earthquake could not be repaired.
But the people of Christchurch pushed back, fighting to save the symbol at the center of their city. Then, in September of 2017, the decision was made: reinstate the cathedral. Now, 15 years on, we were given rare access inside while still mid-restoration. Hard hats and high vis on, and the scale of what's holding this place up right now is unreal. We got to speak with Sally Lafleur from Christ Church Cathedral rebuild team and ask what everyone wants to know: what's next? The big decision people still debate, and how the rebuild is being approached in stages. This visit is thanks to Cathedral Square Unearthed, an exhibition created from the archaeological discoveries made during the post-quake work in the square, bringing the hidden layers of Christchurch's history to life through artifacts, storytelling, and interactive experiences. And we'll link the online exhibition so you can explore the items we're referencing on screen in your home in augmented reality. All right, let's go inside.
Oh, yes.
Welcome everybody. My name's Jane Lees and I'm the director of the Cathedral Square Unearthed exhibition. So you're here today to see an exhibition of archaeology which was excavated in and around Cathedral Square as a result of the earthquakes, and of course you'll get to see the view from the cathedral as well. So the building has been strengthened to 34% of New Zealand Building Code, which means that we are safe. We have permission from the City Council to take people through the building, and we've got the coolest AR that you're going to be scanning QR codes.
Cathedral Square, and we're walking up to the doors of Christ Church Cathedral. This place has been the heart of Christchurch for generations, and today we're getting a rare look inside while it's still mid-restoration. The second you step in, it hits different. It's quiet, it's raw, it feels like time paused, and you can still see the scale of what it's been through. Before we continue, they're going to walk us through how the exhibition is set up inside.
Welcome to Cathedral Square Unearthed. So this is, as Jane said, an exhibition telling the stories of Cathedral Square as told through the archaeology that has been excavated here and around some other parts of the city since the 2011 earthquakes. The stories of the people who first walked this land, so Waitaha, Ngāti Māmoe and Ngāi Tahu. We've got stories of the business people who built the various businesses that came up and fell down around the square. We've got stories of women in the square. There's a wonderful panel about the School of Domestic Instruction. We've also got stories about animals in this part of the city. There's a fantastic panel about dogs that I love, as well as artefacts relating to medicine, to hotels and hospitality, to hairdressing. This is an interactive exhibition. We have AR through QR codes on some of the boards. You should be able to, it'll take you to a link that'll let you open the objects in augmented reality and you should be able to walk around them. It is also interactive through some touch and smell boxes at the end. I promise there is nothing disgusting in the touch boxes. At the end, we will play the cathedral bells about 10 minutes before we need to wrap up. All right, enjoy. Holding everything together.
Every column is boxed, strapped, and stitched together.
Wow, it's all strapped.
This is the cathedral stabilisation system. Major supports to keep the structure secure, smaller targeted bracing to protect the damaged stonework while restoration continues. Later, we talk with Sally Lafleur to get the real answers on what happens next.
arches are so cool.
It's very cool. Dogs were a serious issue around Cathedral Square. In 1862, a new ordinance required dogs to be registered and to wear a collar stamped with a registration number, the early version of a dog tag. And these tags under glass? They tell real stories, lost dogs, and even dogs being poisoned, and one black retriever that reportedly smashed through a shop window. But behind here, we have some history. Stone memorial tablets that once lived on the cathedral walls. They're dedicated to the glory of God and in memory of people tied to this place. The Latin line written on them is basically "Rejoice in the Lord always." Seeing them up close like this, it really hits how much history is packed into these walls. Many arches are held by a steel and timber scaffolding, like an exoskeleton keeping everything steady while the real restoration continues. Now jump back a century. Cathedral Square wasn't just a landmark, it was a busy little world. In the 1800s, hairdressing was usually men's work and mostly men's hair. But a French hairdresser, Victor Longuet, broke the norm, offering women's services too, selling perfumes, soaps, cosmetics, and even ladies' cycle fringes. This hairdo comes straight from 1892 issue of New Zealand Graphic and Ladies Journal. Yep, that was the do back then.
Oh,
wow.
cool. And it floats.
That is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And you can actually walk right around it in a big circle and see the 360.
1906, H.F. Stevens built here in Cathedral Square, one of Christchurch's biggest wholesale chemists. They sold health salts, hair restorers, and even beef and iron wine, a mix of regulated medicine and old school patent cures. Early Christchurch had real water problems. This Lipscomb & Co. water filter from Temple Bar, London dates back to around 1851, using a porous ceramic or charcoal disc to clean drinking water. Finding it here shows how concerned people were getting about what they were drinking. Supposed to smell?
Yeah, smell it.
Okay, let me smell.
And can you guess it?
Oh man.
And are you guessing?
I don't know what it is.
Wait, let me see. It's like impossible to guess, don't worry. It's strong.
Oh, it's a cologne. Citrus. And what can you feel? Oh, it's a bottle of some kind.
Oh, whoa. Torpedo bottle.
Oh.
I
Too?
didn't guess this one.
Didn't or did?
Didn't. I didn't. I haven't looked yet.
Mm.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
Right?
Irish moss.
Cough
Winter
syrup.
colds.
Medicine?
What can you feel? It's like a pipe? Tobacco pipe, yeah. This is a printing roller excavated from the old press building that once stood on the east side of Cathedral Square. This piece literally helped print the newspaper that told Christchurch's story day after day. And as we turn around, we're standing right at the crossing, where the cathedral's cross meets right in the middle. Look up. That big opening is where the crossing roof was removed during stabilisation. It gave the crews access to work from the top down, taking the pressure off the damaged stonework and helping separate the building into independently supported sections. They've even called it open heart surgery on the cathedral. This map is based on Frederick Stout's 1877 Map of Christchurch, found by Thomas Stewart. These two stone angels used to stand on either side of the cathedral's war memorial. They've seen the cathedral at its best and its worst, a reminder of what this place has held on to. And this is the front, where the high altar once stood. Even in this state, open, bare, and braced, you can picture what it was. Look at the old cars driving by. Everywhere you look, the cathedral is basically wearing a temporary skeleton. Shoring, holding arches in place, taking load off damaged stone, and stopping things from shifting while the restoration work continues. The columns are wrapped, the openings are braced, and the whole sections are supported like they're mid-surgery. It's what keeps this place standing long enough to be rebuilt. Under our feet, the cathedral's original floor. one of the few pieces still standing right where it always has. These are mosaic fragments from the panels that once lined the west wall of Christ Church Cathedral. The central panel showed Christ giving a blessing, and the others illustrated acts of mercy from Matthew's Gospel. 3 panels fell in the earthquakes. These pieces come from the scene, "I was sick, and you took care of me." And just to the right, we have an original pipe from the cathedral organ. The team has cleaned, boxed, and assessed nearly 4,000 pipes. Many are being kept to help build the organ that will return when the cathedral comes back to life. It's not just the organ that carries the story. This bell is dedicated in memory to all those who died in the earthquake of the 22nd of February in 2011. You can see right on the inscription, quiet, heavy, and impossible to ignore. And then you see a whole set of them, multiple bells, stored and protected, waiting for their place in the cathedral's future. It's one of those moments where the restoration feels real and personal.
Out of school. They're from a women's school that taught women how to cook and stuff. Like these are jelly molds. They were considered quite high class cookery.
Oh yeah, look, it had roses in it.
They made a women's school because they were concerned that the women couldn't cook very well.
Oh no. Little
And the
Housewives.
men were eating well.
1895.
Soon clean.
It's interesting hearing from people who've come in not ever having been in the cathedral before,
Yeah.
and people who've come in here with really, really long memories of what it used to be, and how that'll be going forward when it's restored, to see. Yeah, just it means so much to the city in so many different ways.
There's been lots of tears as they've come in, and quite a few people who have been too scared to come in, so they've come in.
What?
Did you see the statue laying down of the first priest here?
No. Behind this glass is a piece of cathedral history, the memorial casket of the first Bishop of Christchurch, Henry John Chitty Harper. You can see his years of service right here, 1856 to 1890. He was one of the key figures in the early Anglican story of Christchurch. And seeing this, preserved inside the cathedral while everything else is mid-restoration, it really puts timelines into perspective. This is the sound of the cathedral bells, the voice of Cathedral Square. For generations, they rang out over the city, calling people in and sending them back out. They've been silent through the restoration, but this sound is a reminder of what's being worked toward. A cathedral that doesn't just stand, it lives.
Our experts here, Jessie's our archaeological expert, and this is Sally Lafleur. Sally's been working on the Reinstatement Project for 8 years. So all those questions you've asked me that I said I don't know the answer to, this is the person who can answer them for you. There was a question with this group here. What was that?
I was wondering about the angels and the statues there, who they are.
Yes, well that's St George and St Michael, and in this area here there was a chapel of St George and St Michael Chapel, which we called the War Memorial Chapel, and it had wooden panelling with the names of those people from Canterbury that were killed in particularly the First World War. So that's all been taken away and stored, so that will come back. And the stonemasons must have felt it was too difficult to take them off. You might damage them too much.
Pipe in the corner, the organ.
Yes.
You're going to throw that back in?
Oh, well, there was actually, the organ was up here, well the organ pipes were up here, I beg your pardon, the console was over this side. There was nearly 4,000 pipes, organ pipes, jammed into that organ loft.
Wow.
So we've had someone come over from England, a specialist, and he went through them. A lot of them were damaged. We've kept just under 2,000 of them. In Victorian times, they liked to paint their pipes, and it's quite nice with that decoration. It'd be reused, yes, but the project, the reopening project, only comes as far as this line here. There will be a wall through here, and very much like the building was finished in 1881, it was the nave and the tower. So that will be the same. And this part here will be future work. The first stage won't include the organ.
So do you envisage 2 stages when you say there'll be that bit and that bit? Just the 2 stages?
Yes. Yes. So our goal now, we've started the redesign because we haven't designed the foundations without the base isolation. So that's what currently is happening. The structural engineers are doing that now as we speak. So this will all, we need new foundations. So this one will be excavated and foundations laid just under the original foundations.
Wow, that is so much work.
Yes.
Whereabouts is the altar?
There was a high altar up here at the end of the apse, where you can see the ladies walking, and it's got some damage to the bits of the pieces of it are in storage. Yeah, I'm not sure whether we'll have the high altar back. That's a liturgical debate going on within the church. Yes.
Have you got a budget for like 6 of part 1 and part 2?
We haven't got a budget for part 2, but we certainly have a budget for part 1, and it's between 90 and 95 million. So we have some of that money. We're looking for 45 million further funding from the council and Crown. That's our funding gap. So of the money that we have, that includes money that we have yet to raise philanthropically, but we are very confident. There's quite a lot of support with people who've made pledges, quite significant pledges, but that money won't be forthcoming until they know there's a pathway to completion. So that's what we're just working on as well. That's a parallel work stream.
This exhibition will also be on at the crossing from Tuesday for a month. So if you know people who couldn't come in to see it, we will be moving the whole thing on Monday over to the Airbridge between Valentine's and the crossing, and it will be there, open access, free, no need for hard hats and homers. If anyone you know wanted to come and see it.
Walking out, you really see what's going on from the outside. This isn't just a church with scaffolding, it's a full-on engineering project, holding up a piece of Christ Church while they bring it back. All the steel bracing is temporary, but it's doing a huge job, buying it time for the careful work that has to happen next. After hearing what's next, this doesn't feel like a maybe someday project anymore. It feels like a plan. As we wrap up, we're standing out here by the Citizens' War Memorial. And it's a reminder that Cathedral Square isn't just a landmark, it's where Christ Church records its losses, its history, and what it chooses to carry forwards. But after speaking with Sally, the restoration doesn't just feel like a vague idea, it feels like an organized plan with real steps and real people behind it. Thanks for coming with us, and as always, keep exploring, and thanks for joining us on The Scenic Route.